So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, I saw a interview with Demetrius Andrade just today. And I think he gave the interview a couple of days ago, probably 2 days ago. And he actually said that, he didn't really answer the question. The guy asked him, have you signed with the PBC? And he kind of gave an answer where he went around the block a little bit and then finally kind of implied that yes, he has signed with PBC, but he didn't say it directly. He didn't say, yeah, I signed with PBC. He basically said that I'm not signing a long-term contract with anybody. I don't need to. I'm not in a position where I need to do that. But it seemed from what he said that he has signed with PBC. Now, obviously, this is good news. Now, I think we all speculated that he had signed with a PBC. We had all speculated that it looked like he was a PBC fighter now, or he's probably his ongoing negotiations are gonna be with a PBC, and he's probably discussed that with them, that he's going to work with them. And really, if you look at it, the fights that are out there for him are with the PBC. So it makes a lot of sense for him to sign with them. PBC have been a boxing promotional outfit that doesn't seem like they like to work with anybody that are not within their stable. So if you're not with them and they feel that you are a threat to their fighters, they generally don't seem to mix and match unless it makes sense for them. Like Andy Ruiz was a PBC fighter, and because he was not one of their valuable fighters, they let him go and fight Anthony Joshua, because they even knew that it was a great opportunity for Ruiz, and they only had everything to gain. They didn't have anything to lose, because Andy Ruiz wasn't like Andy Ruiz was one of their top fighters and he didn't have any titles. There was only a chance of Andy Ruiz going and beating Joshua, which he did, becoming a massive star. And as a result of it, even though Ruiz lost the rematch, he became a huge star as a result of it. And as a result of that, he ended up having a huge name, and then he actually became a big asset for the PBC. So for me, that was a master move from Al Heyman. But when they've got a fighter like Charlo, when they've got a fighter like that are valuable fighters that they know that are valuable, they don't really let them go and fight on other platforms. They don't really like to, even like, for example, the Crawford-Spence situation. They don't. I actually feel that Al Heyman is worried about that fight, because he knows that if Spence fights Crawford and Crawford beats Spence, that will mean that all of a sudden a guy that is not with the PBC will have control over the welterweight division, because he'll have all the belts. And Al Heyman probably wants to have control over the welterweight division, because it's one of the most, I would say the most valuable division in boxing, one of the biggest divisions, or one of the most intriguing divisions. And in my opinion, in my honest opinion, I think that Al Heyman likes to be in control. So in that situation, he wouldn't be, because and he knows that there's a chance that Crawford could beat Spence. So this is the issue that I have sometimes with the PBC. But I think if Demetrius Andrade has signed with the PBC, I think that's a good move. I think that's a good move for him. I think that's a good move for boxing. I think that's a good move for PBC, because I think there's a lot of good fights. I think it adds another string to PBC's bow in those divisions where they can mix and match Andrade. I don't know how they'll react to the fact that Andrade is talking about him being not having a long-term deal. I don't know whether he signed a deal which is a couple of fights. He didn't kind of go into much detail. He just implied that he is going to be working with PBC. Now, I don't know whether he's actually told them that, look, I'm not going to do a long-term deal, but I want to work with you on a fight-to-fight basis, which again is something that I'm not sure PBC, they might be open to it, but again, I'm not sure that would go down too well, because Canelo did that, and initially they gave Canelo an offer where Canelo, they wanted to tie him in a couple of fight deal with fighting Plant, because they don't just want him to fight on a platform when they knew the good chance Canelo will beat Plant. They wanted him to perform on their platform again. But Canelo, being the star that he is and the money that he generates, PBC were willing to probably take the hit in that sense. They were probably willing to take the hit, because they knew they were going to make money Whereas with like Crawford Spence, maybe they're worried that, you know, the fight might not deliver the numbers that people think it might. It might not be a very profitable fight, and then they might end up with a diminished asset in Spence if he loses to Crawford, and they end up in a loss because they're going to pay the fighter so much money. So there's a lot for PBC to think about in that fight. But when it comes to Demetrius Andrade, for me, is another option for them to make some big fights. You know, there's guys that like Caleb Plant, Benavidez, they're going to need people to fight. And Demetrius Andrade is a person that, you know, you can definitely fight all of these guys. So I think that would make a lot of sense. Personally, I think it makes a lot of sense. So I actually like it. I actually think they're good fights. I think they'd be intriguing. I'm definitely looking forward to Demetrius Andrade and all those guys getting in the ring. So hopefully we can get those fights. I think you mentioned the Charlo fight. That's another fight that I would like to see, to be brutally honest with you. I think that's a fight that I would be really interested in. So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.